Post-World War II, Latin American countries witnessed a push towards industrialization. However, this process was marked by economic dependency on developed nations, particularly the United States. The region became exporters of raw materials, facing challenges associated with reliance on external markets. 2. Import Substitution Industrialization (ISI). In response to economic challenges, many Latin American nations embraced import substitution industrialization (ISI). This strategy aimed to reduce dependency on foreign goods by promoting domestic industries. While ISI led to some economic growth, it also contributed to issues such as inefficiency, protectionism, and social inequality. 3. Political instability and authoritarianism. The post-war era in Latin America was characterized by political instability and a series of military coups. Authoritarian regimes emerged in countries like Argentina, Chile, Brazil, and Uruguay. These regimes often justified their rule by citing the need for stability and economic development, but were marked by human rights abuses and repression. 4. The Cuban Revolution, shifting ideological tides. A landmark event in post-war Latin America was the Cuban Revolution of 1959 led by Fidel Castro. The revolution overthrew the U.S.-backed Fulgencio Batista regime, signaling a shift towards socialist ideals. Cuba's alignment with the Soviet Union intensified Cold War tensions in the region, contributing to the ideological polarization of Latin American nations. 5. The Alliance for Progress, U.S. Influence and Development Aid. In response to the challenges posed by the Cuban Revolution, the United States initiated the Alliance for Progress in the early 1960s. This program aimed to provide economic assistance to Latin American countries, emphasizing infrastructure development, education, and land reform. However, the success of the Alliance for Progress was limited, and its impact varied across nations. 6. Land reforms and agrarian movements. Land reform became a focal point in many Latin American nations during the post-war period. Agrarian movements sought to address issues of land inequality and rural poverty. Some countries, including Mexico and Bolivia, implemented land reforms to varying degrees of success, impacting social structures and rural economies. 7. The role of liberation theology, social justice, and faith. Liberation theology, an influential movement within the Catholic Church in Latin America, gained prominence during this period. Inspired by a commitment to social justice and alleviating poverty, liberation theology played a role in supporting social movements and advocating for the rights of the poor and marginalized. 8. Military dictatorships and human rights abuses. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, several Latin American countries experienced military dictatorships characterized by human rights abuses and political repression. Countries like Chile, Argentina, and Brazil were particularly affected, with many citizens subjected to violence, censorship, and persecution. 9. Transition to democracy, late 20th century. The late 20th century witnessed a transition from authoritarian rule to democracy in many Latin American countries. The return to democratic governance marked a significant shift, with nations like Brazil, Argentina, and Chile embracing political reforms and attempting to address the legacies of past dictatorships. 10. Contemporary challenges, social inequality and globalization. In the 21st century, Latin America continues to grapple with complex challenges. Social inequality, economic disparities, and the impacts of globalization remain prominent issues. The region's nations are navigating the complexities of balancing economic growth with social justice, with varying degrees of success. Conclusion. The post-World War II era in Latin America was a time of profound transformation, marked by economic shifts, political upheavals, and struggles for independence. The region's trajectory was shaped by a complex interplay of global forces, internal dynamics, and the pursuit of social and economic justice. As Latin America continues to navigate the challenges of the contemporary era, the legacies of its post-war experiences persist, influencing the ongoing quest for stability, democracy, and equitable development.